Hello, everybody. Welcome. Okay, so let me just get this out my system because I've been really excited about this. But this is actually the very first Dove Style Magazine exclusive interview. All eyes on you. Okay, we talking about Gail and Cara. All eyes on you. I am so excited about this interview because we're actually taking articles out of the magazine. We've written the article, but we're actually taking those articles and kind of bringing them to life and bringing the story straight to you. We can't do live in person. Nope, none of that. But this is about as close as we can get. But I am excited about having you all on. I want to give a little background about Dove Style Magazine, just so you all know. I'll introduce myself, Lisa Dove Washington. I'm the founder of Dove Style Magazine since 2012. So we've been through bumps and bruises and all kinds of things, but we relaunched January of 2020, and we are actually moving along, and we're going to end this year out doing some wonderful things. So this is actually a new addition to the magazine, and it's a global online monthly magazine that wants to empower, enlighten, and inspire all. We want to extend an olive branch to everyone by sharing and shining the light on others. I did want to share too that globally we've been visited by Germany, Ireland, Pakistan, Asia, China, Canada, St. Lucia, Dubai, India, and Bangladesh. So they're busy watching. So we're going to keep those numbers going. And of course, we got our cities. We got Atlanta, we got Chicago, DMV is always representing. So thank you all so much for tuning in to our very first exclusive live on YouTube and Facebook. And I want to introduce you all to my guest. Before I do that, I wanted to do a shout out because this is going to be the Virtual Mom Makeover show. But I wanted to actually do a shout out for American Mothers, Inc. And remind you all to not forget that you can nominate a deserving mom for Mother of the Year. So nominations are due by September 15th, 2020. Sharon Parker is a good contact. You can also contact some of the people that are on with the organization. But the website is www.americanmothers.org. So please put your nominations in. There's some women out here who really deserve to be nominated, and being Mother of the Year is an honor. So please think about that. Visit that website, and we'll also put the information on Dove Style Magazine for you. So with all of that said, we want to welcome Gail Crowder and Cara Fulton to Dove Style Magazine's exclusive. For you all that don't know, Dove Style Magazine is found at www.dovestylemagazine.org. And we recently, in August's issue, we did a article on the Virtual Mom Makeover. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to bring them on, because people are thinking, okay, I know what a makeover is. You know, you do it. You go somewhere and you get your makeup on, your clothes and all that kind of stuff. So how are we going to do this virtually, since we cannot touch each other, do any of that stuff? So this was such a creative idea, and Gail got together with some powerful women who actually put all of this together. And I am excited to bring this to you all, because I'm hoping that she's going to bring this back again. So I want y'all to get all the nuggets so y'all can find out how y'all can get nominated, because Cara took it first. So she first, but y'all can come next.
She was our test bunny, but let me just say this. Well, bunny, I mean, that's a bad word, but she was my test because, you know, as you guys know, I'm up every morning at 4 a.m. And this was something that, hello, Sharon, how are you?
Sharon.
This was something that, you know, God laid on my heart, because women all over the world, we take on all of these different titles, but mom, and I don't care if you have naturally birthed a child or you know, brought children in, which I've done both, right? I have two of my own, but God has blessed me with two other. It's the hardest, to me, one of the hardest jobs in the world, but it is the most rewarding one as well. And sometimes we don't get that paycheck that, you know, you normally get from whatever. And so I just looked back and I was thinking about my mother before I started. And I was like, she was a single parent of 3 children. I was the only girl. I was the smartest one, of course. And and I just remember so many days that she was just tired, and went to work, but she made it happen for us. And so for me, when God gave me this, I was like, I want to honor a deserving mom that gets up and makes it happen, and nobody's shouting her name. And she doesn't have a platform that reaches around the world like Dove Style Magazine. And nobody really understands it. Might when she closes the door, she might be crying because it was a many a night. Now that I'm older, I realized that my mother was dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, but couldn't put it off on us, right? And didn't have an outlet to talk about it. And so that was the reason why I started this. And you guys know and been on my journey for a long time. I was a stylist for years before I developed Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage and all those kind of things. So I wanted just to make a mother who was dealing with this COVID and all the kind of stuff that was going on just feel good, right, about what she brings to the table every single day. And that was the reason why I really wanted to do this. And last year or a year before, I think last year, I also got involved like Lisa, with American Mothers. And I just looked at the platform and the mission and just talked to Sharon, who is an amazing leader for the DMV area, about what American Mothers is. And I just want to applaud that platform and the mothers that are involved in that. And so it just all kind of came together. And literally, Lisa will get into it a little bit more, but it wasn't hard for me to get these amazing other women that supported her on this journey involved. Basically, it was like, you're doing this, and they didn't even fight me.
I think they call that voluntold. So, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you came up with the concept, because really when you first were talking about it, I was trying to think of, okay, so how does this work virtually? But I was intrigued by, okay, I know that however this is supposed to work, it's gonna seem easy when Gail does it. Like, what do you mean you don't understand? This is what we're gonna do. So when you started to put it together, it made sense, and we're going to get into it a little bit and talk about how this was kind of a plot twist experience. In a wonderful way, because we always, like I said, we come to the table assuming we know what a makeover is, and we immediately think clothes and makeup and hair and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, so besides somebody sitting on a Zoom and telling you, get that hair, do this, do that, cut it short, whatever, we trying to think, well, how deep can that go? But this was makeover from, as I say, from the inside out. So we wanted to actually have Cara come on and share, because she actually was nominated by a friend of hers and won. And, I wanted to get the first, impression when you first found out, because she shared it with us. And I'm going to also encourage you all to go read the magazine. Not now. Okay. But you can directly, talk to these ladies and find out how it was, because this was a first for everybody involved. It wasn't like somebody had done this before and Cara was just a new one. She was pouring into us too, because we didn't know how this was going to turn out. And I was just following, but I actually ended up getting a makeover, and I wasn't even part of it. I wasn't nominated, but I got made over too. So
I think we all did, because again, I think, and we received quite a few entries when it came to this, and I actually allowed my assistant to read them, and then I sent them over. I narrowed it down, I think, to 5, and I literally sent it over to Sean, who's my business manager, and I was like, pick one person, and she's like, I can't do this. These are all good. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, God, show me. I don't want to look at pictures. I want you to show me who deserves this. Because if you add up the thousands of dollars, spread in your magazine, I can't imagine how much you charge for that or whatever. But, again, when I just came up with this concept, Lisa's like, I'm in. Kiki's like, I'm in. Tawan's like, I'm in. Sean was like, I'm in. Kim's like, I'm in. Like, seriously, it wasn't a hard thing. Their thing was, how are we going to do this virtually? And I was like, I really don't know.
Right.
But I know it can be done, right? And in my mind, like Lisa said, and Kara was like, well, I really am good with the flowers. Like, I don't understand why I was nominated, but in my mind, it was really about the outside,
Mhm.
but I also realized that it became so much more, and I too, Lisa, walked away with a whole different way of thinking.
Right.
I did. I really did.
So, Cara, what was your first impression when you found out you had been nominated and won? Because I don't know if you did she find out like nominated first and then won, or it was all at the same time?
All at the same
All
time.
at the same time. So what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I was just, again, I was shocked. And I was even shocked that my friend nominated me. And I know, she's the most loving person and I know she has much love for me, but I was like, wow, you thought of me that much to nominate me for something. And so it was just really, it was special on so many levels, and so heartfelt. And, just to have this opportunity to, learn and glean and be poured into by such inspirational women. It was just really just blessed.
Yeah. So, Gail, share with us a little bit about like the order name for us the coaches that were involved and what the vision was, and then kind of how you set everything up, because this actually took like maybe 3-4 weeks because you really put some time into it. It wasn't a rushed event at all.
Well, for me, I was looking at it as a progression, and it started off with Miss Kiki Ramsey, who is a amazing person that helps people really press past their barriers and really understand what they was created to do. And so I started off with Kiki because I was like, okay, Kiki will really help her hone into what is her purpose.
Mhm.
Why is she here? Right. And so I started off with Kiki Ramsey, and then we took her to Kim because Kim is a guru in the health and wellness space, and also on top of it, she is an amazing hairdresser and has been doing hairdressing and all that kind of stuff. And she's actually my hairdresser. So I was like, I get two for one. She gets the health and wellness piece,
Mhm.
the hair and makeup and not makeup but skin, all of those different kind of components when you deal with Kim, right? But she mainly was, I really want her to get into the health and wellness space on really how to be, nutritionally sound, and also give her some stuff to make sure that her hair is healthy and all those kind of stuff. And then we moved her into Miss Shaw Mason, who was talking about healthy skin and how
Mhm.
to apply makeup effectively and all of those kind of things. So she gave her a really good skin routine and, talked about how to apply makeup, because we found out that she was not a real big makeup person. And
Mhm.
so Sean really focused a lot on the healthy skincare part of it. And then she came to me because I was like, okay, she didn't got, she didn't found out her purpose. She didn't found out, about health and wellness. Then she, moved to the makeup. So I was going to pour on this, my image thing, right? And then we followed up with Miss Tawan, which is, a goal setting visionary pioneer, Tawan Lowe. And so I was thinking, ending on that note would be the best way to end. And I will tell you, every last one of those people have coached me in my life that I
Mhm.
have paid them. Because most people think because you're people's friends or whatever, that you don't pay them for their skill set. But these are some amazing women that have coached me in some areas of my life. So when I talked to Kara when we first began this journey, I said, listen, these women have helped me get to where I am and continue to push me. And then I know that I have had a long relationship with your magazine and all your support that you have done with BSB this year. You and your team came out and featured BSB and done some articles and videos and all those different kind of things. So that was what, when I was laying before God and asking him, what do I do? That was the routine that he gave me. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Right. Well, and I will say, as I was, because part of what my part was to kind of chronicle what was happening and be a part of each time she met with somebody just to see how it went. Because there were going to be, you never knew what the response was going to be. What I did notice is that Cara was on top of things. It's like a lot of times she would meet with the ladies, there was a lot of things they were talking about, and she's like, yeah, I'm doing that. And so it was kind of like, that's where the plot twist was happening, because she was actually doing a lot of the things they were saying. And so it led into other things. So they were able to go deeper because it was like, okay, Cara is on top of this thing. So it opened up the conversation to, okay, so let's find out what else Cara needs. Let's go deeper into this, which a lot of times with these kind of things, you're not able to actually get that kind of deepness because you're doing the surface stuff. And Cara was very open, and they were great conversations. I know at first it seemed like Cara was like, okay, so what y'all want me to do? I don't know what to do. And then, by the time she met with Gail the last time that she met with Gail, it was a whole different interaction. It was relaxed. It was just like girlfriends talking. And she was open. She was sharing things. So Cara, how was it? Was it uncomfortable at first and you didn't know, what to do?
Yes. I'm not one to easily trust. So I'm like, I don't know these women. I don't know what they want me to say to them. I'm just not going to be telling all my business kind of a thing. But, you guys, everyone was so loving. Everyone was so real. And I think what helped is that every single person that I met with, they were open about their stories, right? And it was just like, oh, wow, I resonate with that, right? That's right. Kind of what I'm going through or have been through. And it's like, okay, they're doing their thing and look at where they are. And so I felt that helped me feel more comfortable to share. And I needed to share, and God knew that I needed to share and release those things and be able to process them. So that was just a wonderful opportunity that I was not expecting, but God always knows what you need. Right?
Absolutely. And I think transparency was a lot of that. We were real, and we talked about real things that we all could relate to. Which I think helped a lot. So Gail, what did you get? Because I know what was your concept going in, and then what changed as we started to get to the end of it?
Wow, my concept was that we had the before picture, and we was gonna have this amazing after picture, and that was, like I said, all surface stuff. All surface stuff, because I was expecting, right, this woman to be tired and like, I don't care what I put on kind of moment. And so I just thought that big reveal would be like, oh, look at her before and after, right? But the thing was, she did transform, but it wasn't about the clothes.
Right.
And I will say that after talking to all the coaches, they also went in one way, because that was what my game plan was. Even I think you, as the writer, had one thing in mind, because that's what I had laid out.
Right.
But I even after talking to her after, the fourth one down, was totally blown away about the internal transformation which began to appear on the outside. Is that making sense?
Right. Hey, Cynthia, welcome.
Hey, Cynthia. Hi, Ryan. We had a couple of people on there. I didn't want to.
Yeah, Ryan too. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan, the person who nominated, is on here watching. We thank you so much for putting this amazing woman in our life. Just because the mom makeover is over, don't mean you didn't got rid of us, Cara. I just want you to
right.
I hope
not. So I would just say that for me, when I do the next one, I'm not going to have a preconceived thing what's going to happen. I literally am going to allow God to do whatever transformation needs to happen, because I believe the makeover that happened with her is much bigger than finding a new dress and a new hairstyle and some makeup. That's what I believe happened.
Absolutely, because I mean, I think the plus with this was it wasn't just, it started out being about Cara. But in the end, it wasn't about just Cara. It was about all of us. Because it created conversations where, you know, I felt like I was in it with her. Like, you know, we had been chosen together. And I was like, okay, she's sharing this because I'm getting made over too. But it was insightful, and it was, you know, it brought back that natural women talking and sharing, and being very transparent about whatever their issues are, whatever, and nobody was ashamed of, you know. I like the fact that we were comfortable with sharing, because we hadn't met before this experience, but I think I probably told Carl all my, you know,
I did too, because it brought out a lot of stuff that, you know, you don't even like think about, or you suppress. And we talked about marriages, and we talked about so many different things. And I told her about my struggles in my marriage, and I told her how I overcame some of them, just different things, like I said, that didn't have anything to do with clothes. It just really had to, like I said, being open and honest. And that's what I love about the women that God has placed in my life, is that we can be open and honest. And that's why we do the evening tea with Gail, and you do an amazing job with, you know, with your shows and stuff, Lisa. But again, it's just really being real and transparent. And I am really glad that she, at first, of course, because she's right, she didn't know us from a can of paint, right? She really didn't. I think Ryan knows us better because she has attended BSB, right? But again, to really know us on an intimate basis, like, you just thrown like out there. But again, I knew the women, and I tried to make sure that I told you, Cara, when we first met, that the women that I was putting you in their hands was going to take care of you, because they have taken care of me before, right? And so I hope you felt that in this journey.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely.
And she was able to, you know, if you can just share a little bit about what you took away from each one of the women, if you can.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I told many of them, you know, after you know, going through a divorce and transitioning to being a single mother, you know, you go through certain things, you know, it's almost that grieving process, right? And so at this stage in my life of that process, I definitely knew God's working on my heart, right? And so, you know, because I think that takes the longest to heal. Right. You know, the wounds are so deep. And so, you know, that first meeting, you know, we're talking about purpose. And I was like, well, you know, I'm kind of already in a career that I want to get into, and kind of did that thing. And but we got into talking about relationships. And I told her, yeah, I was trying online dating, and hasn't been so fun. And she just shared her story about, you know, she found her husband on online and different things. And you know, and that was just encouraging to me. And that was, and so we just talked about so many things, and other things in there too. And so that just helped me to just kind of say, let go, relax, you know, don't be afraid to try something. It might not work out, and that's okay. But it's the fact that you're putting yourself out there, and willing to take the risk, right? Because you're not going to find love, you're not going to experience love if you're not willing to risk having your heart broken, right? And so that's kind of what I took from that first meeting. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names, so someone Kiki. Okay. And then the second one, I believe that was with Kim. Yeah. And so that was nice, you know, talking about my hair and health and different things. And I'm still using some of her tips. Yeah, right. So that was really awesome. And I mean, she just blew me away. I mean, she's just all woman, hear me roar. And she just has so much, power behind her and just her story. I mean, it just really, it was just awesome. And then I believe the third, that was with Sean, right? With the makeup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's just funny. She's a riot. I love her. She's one, and she's like, I'm going to be as real as I'm going to be, whether you like it or not. And here it is, and let's go. So I love that. And I'm still using some of her tips for my face and different things with the foundation and the eyes and everything like that. And so it was just good, and some things I knew, but some things were reminders, and some things were, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that. I am older. I'm in my 40s, and I need to think about this now. Right.
Right.
And so that was really good. And I believe Tawanda, right?
Tawan.
Yeah.
Tawan.
So that was, woo, okay.
That one, yeah.
We went deeper than I was expecting to go. And we probably went, we did definitely go deeper than I was anticipating, but it was good. It was like a release. It was almost like a detox, I guess is the best word to describe that. And just really getting to the heart of the matter. And I think that's where her gift is, right? She knows how to get to the heart of the matter. She sees the heart of the matter where you don't see it. And so she enlightens you. Right, a lot.
I have to be like, I just can't talk to you today because, no, seriously, with Tawan, some days, and sometimes with Kiki too, though. I have to tell them, like, I don't even want to do this kind of work right now. So I don't want to talk to you. Like, seriously, I hang up a lot of days and man, I'm like, I'm not talking to them because they want me to go to work and have to deal with stuff I don't want to deal with. Right. So I'm not talking to you. They're like, are you all right? No, I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? It was funny because soon after that session, I went to the dollar store. I needed to get something, and I found 3 jars that, like, perfect jars that already had the slots in them for me to do my little gratitude exercise.
Oh, wonderful.
It was not even funny. I was like, okay. So I did that. I did her exercises, just really thinking about, Lisa, all the different questions she was asking. And, that really, it really helped a lot. You know what I mean? Because I think, it's very important to get to know yourself, right? And you tend, as a mom, you automatically kind of lose your identity once your children are born. I mean, even your family, they love you, but it's all about the kids. It's like, do I exist anymore?
Right.
And then when you get married, it's easy for a woman, I think, to lose her identity. And then, so when you come out of a broken relationship, well, whoa, who am I at all? And then if you're trying to heal and then you're trying to say, hey, I want to be healthy if God brings someone again. So who am I? What do I like? What, who is that person that would mesh well with me and I with them, right? And so through that session, she helped me to begin asking those questions, right? And coming up with answers and being able to present them to the Lord, because we have our idea of what we want, but God knows what we need. And I know that whoever he brings into my life, it has to be a good partner, if that's his will, right? But I'll know who I am and what I bring to the table, which I think is important.
Absolutely.
Oh
I think, when we were in that session with Tawan, it went really deep and it got emotional. But it was in a good way. It was unexpected for everybody. But I think it was that way because it was some real talk and you didn't have time to prepare for what she was going to say. And really it was about being open. So there were some things that she said, and I can't remember specifically, but it was just some simple sentences she said that it was just like, it just kind of hit you like, okay. And it opened up the whole door for this huge, real conversation between women, just talking about what we've experienced. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And I think sometimes that's what we need. That's what makeovers have become to me after this experience that Gail put together. Is it's about how you feel about you. It's about what can I do to make myself more open to even receive whatever it is that I'm supposed to learn from this. And I was pulling it in too. She had me in tears, and oh yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. We were supposed to be working. But I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And it was nice to see that, because I know, Cara, in the beginning, you know, I could imagine you were just kind of like, okay. And then, and then as I started to meet, you know, I could tell on the journey as she would meet with each of them, she relaxed a little more, but it still was kind of like, oh, okay. And then by the time when we got to talking with Tawan, at first we were talking about some things and she was on point with a lot of things. So Tawan said, okay, well, that's when she gave her okay. Tawan was kind of like, okay, well, this is what we're going to talk about. And we just totally switched the lane. And actually what I like is that each one of the coaches got to what Cara needed as opposed to what they came to do. So, and they were quick with it. It wasn't like it was hard to figure out. Let's see what Cara needs. We came in here thinking we were going to give her something. We gave her a little of that, but then Cara opened up and shared some things that she really needed, and they were on point with all of this. Gail, we got real talk with Gail because we got to the heart of some things and figured out it wasn't about, you know, as Gail mentioned, the outward stuff. It was some in stuff that you can't heal it all in one month, 1 year, whatever. But it let Cara know that it's okay to talk about it. And at least now you have how many women that you can actually reach out and talk to.
And, and they're still open to talk. And we're still, like I said, you're not on this journey alone. And, you know, we want to see you win. And I am so blessed that our paths have crossed. I am so blessed that at first, again, anybody with any kind of brain would have been like, for one, why was I nominated for a makeover? And for two, because I would have been like, well, I think I look pretty good. You know what I mean? But again, God has something totally different, because in my mind, as a stylist, that's where I thought we were going to go. And that's where I was leading them to take you, right? But again, like I said, you have an amazing, amazing background. You have amazing foundation. And it was just that one piece that needed to come together. And I know you're ready. I do.
Oh, thank you. And I just want to say thank you, Gail, because really, you know, even at the end, you know, just resonates with me, just like being at peace with where you are in the moment, right? Yeah. And letting it go and knowing that it takes time to be patient with myself, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and this was just the beginning step of tackling some of that, right? And every single one of you gave me more tools, right, to continue that process. And so I just really thank you for your heart and for the opportunity. So.
Oh, listen here.
She is the first.
I'll be first. And like I you know, even when I sit back and I reflect, and when Lisa sent me the article, I was like, wow. Like seriously, because again, she went in thinking that she was chronicling something like, oh, she learned to put on a lash, or oh, she learned to wear, you know, what's a good color that looks on her. But it was so different. And I hope that you've been able to read the article.
Oh, of course. And I shared it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Like, wow, literally, wow. And I'm going to share it through my newsletter. When I say share it, just share the link to Dove Style Magazine, because I've had some people that ask, what happened to the mom? And I was like, it's already happened, but we're doing it and presenting it in a different way. And so I appreciate you, coming out and allowing us to expose this, because again, I will do it again. Like I said, you was a test bunny in a sense, but whenever God gives me something, he has already put everybody in place for me to execute it. And I have been so blessed to be able to say that. And so what Lisa has said is that you are not on this journey alone, right? You could still pick up the phone and call any of those women, and they will definitely be open to you. So you're not on this journey alone. And I'm really grateful that we was able to spotlight a mom who is doing amazing things, not just in your own personal life, but in other people's lives and touching other people's lives and stuff like that. And I'm still gonna have you sing.
All right, don't pull that. The preacher's coming to to your house, and then it's like, come on, you have to pray now. Don't do that. I'm on live Facebook.
No, I'm not going to just say on Facebook, but you will sing at one of my events.
Okay. Give me time to prepare.
Like, yeah, please, not right now. No,
Right.
I would like a selection now. You know, they just,
Yeah, because Ryan says yes, Tara can sing.
I'm sure she can.
Okay, so I won't put you on the spot. Yeah, I won't. But once let's put a year in, and then okay, so maybe for the next one, then we'll bring back the first winner, and then you got to sing. Okay.
Sing.
This was absolutely wonderful though, because I mean, when Gail first mentioned it, immediately I was like, oh, and you can do this I think first we said every year, and then we was like maybe twice a year, because part of it was too that I think as moms we get so caught up in taking care of everybody else and making sure they're good, and we get to a comfort level of what we think is good. Like we're good. Okay, if I'm not sitting here crying right now, I'm good. Okay. Which doesn't necessarily mean you're good. It just means at that moment you good. So I think this was actually just kind of a reminder that sometimes we need that kind of connection with people. And especially during COVID and us being locked up, I thought the timing for this kind of thing was absolutely wonderful. And not only that, but Gail just showed people how to do a makeover virtually.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
that is a gift, because I, for the life of me, could not figure out how do we virtually do a makeover. I mean, people on YouTube all day long and they're looking at videos. What else could we do? And then when I saw this kind of come, even as I was writing it, putting it all together and then going back and reading it like in order was just like, wow, this was a lot. And she took her time with it. So it wasn't like one day you meet with somebody, the next day you meet with somebody. It was really kind of, marinating in the conversation that you had with someone, and they all connected. If you didn't, I don't even know if you paid attention, but you were connecting each person as you went along, like you were bringing something else, and they each actually said something that was consistent. As you met with them, it was still this constant, everything was wasn't. So even with Shauna, she actually got goodies too. So it was.
Let me just tell you, and we was not even talking. I was not talking to Kiki and Tawan and them about about you, which was crazy, because everybody's busy or whatever in the schedules, and it had. I know for a fact it had to be God, because literally when I talked to you, you're like, no, that's not what we. And I'm like, huh? I was talking to Lisa the most. She's like, no, it went a totally different way.
Right.
You gotta wait to see. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't even call in question.
Right.
Because I knew the skill set of the women that God put in my life. Mm-hmm. And so I just trusted that whatever, and they all spirit God-led women. So whatever they, you needed, I knew God was going to download and use them to execute, to bring you to wherever you needed to be as the end result. And so I was never worried about that. And so I'm really glad that whatever turn it took a huge U-turn, like for real, that you was still on the journey and we didn't lose you.
Right.
And that's what I'm grateful about this whole thing, that we did not use you. And again, I'm going to say this: I am going to do another mom's makeover, but I'm not going to go in with something set and preconceived.
Right.
Because you literally opened my eyes that this could be so much more than just the outward. And I thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So let me ask you real quick, Car, because I know part of with Car's story was her, her son and being a mom of a young man, and with everything that's going on in the world. So we got to talk about things that were currently going on. So how has that been in working through, I mean, just COVID in general after the makeover? Were there any things that you noticed that maybe you handled differently or think differently about? Or even your energy, or because after I finished with writing it, I just felt differently about some things, not any grand thing, but just like, okay, it was just kind of enlightening to me.
Yeah, I think one of the strongest things for me was that self-love. And I think even when it comes to my son, my it's almost like the thing with the plane, right? They say if the plane goes down, you have to put the oxygen on yourself before you put it on someone else. And I think, the top thing for me, even more so pressed into me, even more so now, and especially as COVID is going on, is that I can't be the best mom that I need to be unless I take care of myself. I can't be the best coach that I can be to the students that I serve unless I take care of myself. And, he depends on me to pour into him, to teach him. There are other people depending on me to help lift them up and get them to where they need to be in life. And so it impressed on me that I really have to make sure I take the time, even if people don't understand it. It's needed, especially if I'm going to continue walking in the purpose that God has for me. So I think that was the top thing. And especially within COVID, I told people I have my vacation days, and more than ever, I believe in self-care days. And so I use those vacation days whenever I need to, right?
It's easy to get into a rut now that we're home. You take away that vacation, and I think that it's easy to fall into that, but you don't want to fall into that. So I mean, and
you need it more than ever right now.
Okay, because well, for me, it's kind of like you want to do that because it's even the expectation of somebody needing something that day. I really sometimes need a day, especially when we're home. We're not going out as often, so you're not getting those outlets that you need things like this. So this was, like I said, perfect timing for just kind of addressing your needs. And it being okay to address your needs, because that's a whole nother issue with women.
Yes, most definitely. And I think it's okay to take a pause. And when I say take a pause, turn your phone off, go outside, go sit on your porch for half an hour. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. You can't talk to me right now. Like, I just need this break and I'll be able to come back to you. It is just so important, even because not everyone can afford to take, a vacation day. Everybody's situation is different. So I just feel like if you can take a pause for yourself, if you can read some quotes or the Bible, if that's your thing, just to kind of pour into yourself. If you don't have anyone else to do it, just take the reins and kind of just, breathe that life back into you. Right. So.
Absolutely. So Gail.
Yes.
You said you're going to do this again. So do we have any details of, what's coming? What are you thinking about? When are you thinking about? Because we want, and that was part of why I wanted to actually even go live with this, is because we know that some people will, read the magazine and check out the article, but then sometimes to literally see people talk about their experience, you actually get to feel the energy behind it. It's different written, but when you get to see people talk about what the experience was, I'm thinking that ladies everywhere, like, okay, nominate me. Can I nominate myself? How to do it.
And they can nominate themselves. And I'm looking at actually February of next year of 2021. Because again, I have to be aware that, you know, I have Wife Masterclass coming up. I got BSB 2021 coming up. I got a lot of stuff coming up. But, and also you know, Kiki, to all the coaches that has said yes to this, also have, you know, lucrative businesses and all kind of ventures that they have to get through. So I'm thinking about February of 2021. And I know people go, God, that's a long way away. Absolutely is not. Look how time is just flying like hotcakes, or however they say it. And so February 2021, but I actually will be putting out the link for Mom's Makeover in November. And you're like, November? Yes, I'm going to put it out in November because that'll give people enough time. At first, like I said, it was only a month that I actually started advertising and putting it out on Facebook. And that was really the only social media platform that I used, which was Facebook. And I did do a couple of things on Instagram, but this time it will be a little bit more because, again, it literally was a download from God at 4:00 in the morning. And I woke up and I said, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And literally it came together within a day or two. I think I actually talked to you first before I talked to anybody else.
I was like, yes.
She was like, yeah. And she's like, well, how's it going to go? I'm like, I don't know. But she's like, well, I was like, I know you back with your magazine and I want you to write about it. She's like, okay, but how's it going to go? I don't know.
I made sure that wherever she told me to be, I was there. And the ladies did the same thing. And we enjoyed it. So I'm actually looking forward to it because I just knew when she said it that it would be something that would happen again and again and again to give, you know, some people kind of put their feet in the water to test it and see. So, you know, people are shy about what is this about. So now it's out, the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows.
And you was the perfect I think you was the chosen one. You was the golden child.
Thank you.
I was like, yeah, and I called Kiki up. I'm like, hey, what day can you meet with somebody? I said, because I want you to talk to them about their purpose. She said, huh? I was like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, I need for you to tell me. She's like, okay. Like, how long do I have to talk to them about it? I said, about 45 minutes, an hour. And then I just went on to the next, and Kim was like, okay, but you know, I do. I was like, I said, she can do it on Monday or Tuesday. She said, okay, all right. She said, what am I talking to them about? I said, I want you to do, okay? That's literally the kind of conversations I had. I didn't give them a whole big, I just like walking your brilliance, walking your calling, which all of these women are. So it was natural for them, right?
Right.
And so, and when I was talking to you, it was like, all right. Mm-hmm. And I was saying to myself, she have no idea about that.
But then it just came to, and that lets you know when God is really all in it, because things that you have no clue about how you're going to do it, it just kind of comes together. So you probably wouldn't be able to pay somebody to say, I didn't have like a total game plan on how this was going to, you know, roll out. You know, it's kind of like when I started the magazine and they were like, well, how are you doing? Or all of the things that I do, well, how are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, really, I do, because it's a Man Upstairs is helping, because I don't have a like set, this is what I do, this is what, you know, a lot of times it's not like something that was laid out and it wasn't a blueprint and all of that kind of stuff. But when it comes and it started flowing, the whole thing flowed so easily. Yeah. It was amazing how, and it was like, it wasn't rushed. It was time. We checked in and made sure that, you know, Carr was okay. I know she probably was like, why does this chick keep calling me? But every now and then I
love hearing from you.
Like I would send her a text or something and just say, you good? Everything good? And she was like, yep. And Gail was like, how's she doing? She's doing great.
I'm like, how's she doing? I ain't forgot about her. I got all this stuff going on, but I ain't forgot about her. And I appreciate you being open to the journey. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I said, just showing up and just being your authentic self, because that I believe not only helped you, but it helped them,
Right.
right? Because again, we all had one way of thinking when I talked to them, and it was very brief. I didn't have no big shebang and saying we're going to do this. I didn't because it was just a download. I said yes to it, and it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I am so blessed to have people in my life. Because Lisa was like, yeah, 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 I got you, but you know, she's more regiment than I am. She's like, so what am I supposed to be doing, and how? And I'm like, I don't know, but I just need you to write about it. She's like, okay, you know, Lisa, give you
Yeah. Okay.
that.
You just kind of wait and see. Okay, well, eventually it's gonna kick in, and you go, "Oh yeah, okay." But it really just kind of happened. And then meeting you, and I thought it was so cute because at first you were just kind of like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? And then as we started to talk more, you wouldn't have known that we didn't know each other before this.
That's true.
Yeah, we were just kind of chit chatting and telling our bit. I was like, look, I'm telling all my business and cards. Like, but I mean, this is to me the way that you build relationships and you know, organically. You know, sometimes we get out here and it's everything's so forced. And then it doesn't work and you don't understand why, but it's because you know we went into this with a certain thing. We work, you know, working with Gail. Cara won, but didn't know what she won. And then when we started working together, because everybody was open to the process, it flowed. And you know, and we all got, you know, some information from it. I mean, and I just really appreciate, because I mean I was being poured into. Accidentally it was running over because while I was, you know, taking notes, I was taking notes. Okay. But Carr, let me share this too. When Carr was in each one of her sessions, she was taking notes, and I was like, that is so cool, because we don't do, you know, we sometimes we just sit there and we listen, and but she was taking notes, and she's like, wait a minute, so you said, and I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
That's right.
It was cool. It was really cool. So Tess, so I want you all, before we finish, I wanted you all to definitely share what you have going on, what's coming up. If anything, what are your goals for? Because we're coming up on the end of the year. So 2020 is about to be over. So whatever goals you have going on, I know, Gail, you have some things that are probably popping off for the first of the year. And we're going to be in here for a minute. So it gives us time. So let's start with Carr. What kind of goals are you looking forward to, you know, for the end of 2020 and going into 2021? Because 2020 has kind of brought us a few challenges.
It has. But at the same time, I feel like it has brought us opportunity, right? And I feel like it's in those moments of stillness, right, that we grow the most, that we get the most inspiration. And that's when we actually stand still to be able to hear, right? And so for me, it's one to get my son through school. Because that's going to be
Right. That's another challenge. Right
a second grader on cyber school.
Yeah.
Me luck. And then, you know, for me, I just really want to press into the Lord. I feel like He has a few different things He wants me to work on. And so for me, that's what I'm trying to do more than anything else. Because I do think a huge shift's about to occur. And I just want to be ready for that. So
Absolutely. I love it. So Gail, what you got going on?
Wow. Oh God. You know, I feel like Cara have shifted. And I look at COVID as an opportunity to really hone into the gifts that God has given me, and I don't take them for granted anymore. And so I'm really working on my next book, which is Divorce Proof, which, you know, that was the whole reason why I started BSB. And so I'll be doing Wife Masterclass, which is going to start October the 8th. So you guys know for that. You know, I love where I bring, you know, wives to pour into to women all over the world. So I'll be doing Wife Masterclass. And then I'll be launching BSB is going to BSB 2021 is going to be a hybrid where we're going to be live and be streaming into houses all over the world. So I'm
Wow.
excited about hosting BSB for the first time as a hybrid. So I've been working on that, but most of all, I really have, like Kara said, I've been, I do what I need to do, but God has blessed me with being able to touch more wives in this space than I have ever before. My coaching practice, all of that kind of stuff is just it's been growing. And a lot of people were saying, and I used at first when COVID first hit, everybody was coming to me because it was all bad stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't stand it and I want to walk away. And if you can't do something about it or whatever. But the shift has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Our prayers have changed, right? People are like, Gail, how do I make this better? And that's where I thrive in helping people make it better. I know what it is to be in a bad marriage, but I also know what it is to be in an amazing marriage. So God has shifted that whole negativity thing to all positive. And so what I want to say to Kara, as you press into God, He is already created. He is already has a man, a real man.
Uh-oh. I'm like, what?
A real one, a real man already created for you. And it's all about timing. And I believe that going through this process has opened the door for you to be prepared to step in it and not have baggage, not have weight, not have any of those things. And so I consider it a blessing and an honor to be on this journey with you. And the reasons why I say journey with you, because we're going to be connected forever. And I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate, I want to say thank you before we end this to Lisa, to Kiki, to Sean, to Cam, and to Tawan, and to my Father in heaven for saying yes to something that was just downloaded to me that we didn't even know how it was going to look or whatever. And I thank you, Kara, for being open. And I thank Ryan for just choosing you, even though you didn't even know.
I love Ryan.
So again, I know I am a part of American Mothers, so I want to shout that out. And I want to say thank you to all women who have said yes to this call, right? Because it is the biggest job and the longest journey. And it sometimes feel like you are alone, even when you can be in a room full of people, right? Thank you for saying yes to this, because you have everything that you need to carry out this journey. And so again, to American Mothers, I want to tell every woman, if you're not a part of this organization, you really need to join, because I have grown and expanded so much just join, because I just want to know what it was about. But literally the richness of being on the other line with women who have said yes to this journey. Yeah, we say we're part of career, stuff. We're part of so many different organizations, but being part of this is something that is huge and literally can transform your life. So you don't have to be married or wherever. You just have to say, yes, I have a kid. And you could be a part of American Mothers. So I say, please look into joining that organization. It's amazing. And we have amazing leadership in the DMV area as well.
Absolutely. So you all that are, thank you so much for joining in and checking this out. Sharon has actually been on the thread. So please reach out to Sharon for more information. She is the head and president of the Maryland chapter, I believe. So they
have chapters all over the country. Right. So if you're watching this and you're not necessarily, in the DMV area, they have chapters like literally all over the country.
Right. You can go to AmericanMothers.org, I believe, and in your area, look up. But if anybody's in the DMV area, hit Sharon up. She has
Sharon Parker. You gotta make sure you say her last name, because everybody be looking for Sharon. It's a million Sharons.
Yes, Sharon, actually, she put up. She went. Women and men say yes to www.AmericanMothers.org. Okay. so you all please look out for that. And it's nominations. September 15th is a deadline. So, we gotta encourage each other. We gotta celebrate each other. And this is just part of what I wanted to do. I was honored that Gail asked me, because I've never done anything like this before either. So I was just, and I'm always down. If you say, okay, well, I'm trying something new. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Because you got to make the best of whatever. Even if there were kinks, nobody would know, because it's like, look, we're going to make the best of this, and it's going to turn into something that's going to be wonderful. So I am encouraged that you are actually doing this again. I can't. So I'm hoping that all the ladies out here that watch, or even the men who have wives that they maybe want to, push out there or shout them out, please look for Gail's information on the next one coming up. And I thank you, Gail and Carl, for allowing me to have you on the very first exclusive interview for Dove Style Magazine. This was absolutely wonderful. And thanks for everybody who tuned in. This is the first of many. But I also want to encourage you to go to the magazine, which is dovestylemagazine.org, and check out the virtual mom makeover article, as well as many other articles that are there. We're getting ready to release the September issue. But this article for this story is in there, and y'all need to check it out and share it with your family and friends and everybody else. But thank y'all so much. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come and share about your journey. And I'm hoping it will encourage other people to actually sign up with Gail and to think about just self-care in general. Just in general, this is one of many ways that we can look out for each other and take care of each other. So this was a wonderful week.
Thank you, Lisa, so much for sharing your platform and saying yes to just me saying, I need you to follow this lady.
Right. So you all have become my women. What is it? The WCW Women Crush Wednesday, because this was absolutely wonderful. So I thank y'all so much.
All right, thank you so much.
So see you next time. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.